We see hurricanes, we hear about power outages, we hear about maybe the grid not being as strong, we hear about the energy prices going up. So today's video is going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about 5 ways that you can not only heat and keep yourself warm for a winter season, or just simply being able to cook and take care of your family. So energy crisis can cause more issues, but these are 5 simple ways that you can buy something or make something and make sure you can take care of your family when the storms come, or if there's blackouts or power outages, or maybe you just want to save money and conserve energy. Today's video is going to be a good one, and it starts right now. Welcome to the Max. Thank you so much for coming along our journey. We hope you are enjoying our channel. Please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm okay with that, but tell us why. Tell us what you like about this video, or tell us what you don't like about this video. Now, these are in no particular order, and these are just simply 5. So there's different ways and means to do the things that we're talking about, but we want to talk about a simple 5 because this is for just about anybody's budget, and to make sure that you can heat yourself, heat your home, give you warmth, and have some way to make sure that you can cook. And fire and having heat and warmth, there's so many benefits to that. So let's jump right into it. Number 1, we're going a little old school. So we have chimneys in our home. We have not only one chimney in our home, we also have an outdoor kitchen that has a chimney. It's an open fireplace. Open fireplace would be number 1. We are able to not only heat our home, but we can also cook over an open fire. So we built ours big enough to where we can swing something in. We can put a cast iron Dutch oven in there, or we can put a cast iron on top. We've talked about this in other videos by having good cookware that can withstand fire. So we talk about stainless steel, we talk about carbon steel, we talk about cast iron. All those are great ways, because if you ever get to a point where you have to cook over an open fire, you can do that. So number 1 would be a fireplace. Having a way to not only heat your home, you could close off exterior doors, you can close off other rooms and focus right there where your fireplace is. In olden times, that's exactly what they did. That's why you see these bigger homes have 4 or 5 fireplaces. They would realize that they would want a heat source in each of these rooms. Having a wood fireplace is phenomenal. However, you do have to have wood. So you need to make sure you are stockpiling wood in off season. A lot of times people wait to winter to start buying wood, and it's either way too high, or they don't cut enough, or it's too green, or people are literally scalping them by charging them way too much, or it's just not available. So start preparing for this in the summer and in the fall season, even in the spring if you want to, but make sure you're stockpiling wood. We're surrounded by trees, so we do have a little bit more access. If you live in suburban areas, or you live in areas that are more city oriented, you need to make sure that you are stockpiling it and buying it over time to build up. Use what you can. Don't buy too old of wood because it will burn too fast. Don't buy too green of wood because it won't burn at all. So you have to have a good mix. So number 1 would be a fireplace. Having that in your home is key. Close off other doors. Now you have a heat source very close in a living room setting, and you can also cook over it. Number 2 would go along with that. It is a fire pit. You can have a fire pit right outside your door. Some people use trash bins and build like out of old steel 55-gallon drum. I've seen people cut old tanks in half, make sure they're cleaned real good, but we've seen people paint them and make little fire pits out of them. This is a way that, say for instance, you live in an apartment building, or you live in a home that doesn't have a fireplace, you don't want to light a fire inside and cause damage, but you can also make sure that you can cook. Now, heat source, yes, you can have heat source, but if you're outside in the cold, it's not giving you much of a heat source. But what you could do is you could cook over this and also boil water. In a scenario where we may not have access to water or clean water, or we're having to heat up food and we don't have electricity, it's good to have a fire pit or open fire like the fireplace, but also outside. I love camping. I love being able to come out by the lake. The kids love it. The boys love it. it allows us to be able to just kind of put some marshmallows over the fire. But in a scenario of life-saving measures, it gives us warmth, it can boil water, it can also cook over it. Simply just like you do weenies over a fire, hot dog weenies over a fire, you can use a simple rod or a simple clothes hanger. Makeshifting a way to cook and heat is key. Open fire pits are huge. You can buy them from literally grocery stores because it's fall season, so you can buy these little makeshift, fire pits. They don't last as long. You need to buy something or build something a little bit more durable because you want to be able to move it around, but also it be a staple on your home or on your home place, at your farm, or close to your porch. Have a way that you can contain the fire. I've seen people do chimeneas. If you see those old little, these little fire pits that people buy that are made out of clay, a chimenea would not be a bad thing to have, especially on a balcony or an apartment balcony. You can still cook over it. You can use the smoke to smoke something. You can cook inside, build your little makeshift grill in there, and you've got a way to heat something, cook something, or keep warm. Number 3 would be a rocket stove. Now, I showed you my rocket stove in a lot of videos. I'll show you a picture of it right here. Now, the rocket stove is key because it's so light, it's so versatile, and usually you can pick these up for under $100. It's a good thing to have. You pretty much now have a stove wherever you go. Twigs will light a rocket stove and get you an open flame and get it pretty hot. Now, you are feeding it a lot more, so it's not something you want to leave. It's not something you want to, cook something for hours over, but it allows you to boil water again really quickly. It allows you to feed it with twigs. So if you're instead of building in this big open fire and not having the biggest wood you can, twigs, leaves, sticks, straw, things like that, you can feed right into the rocket stove, and it allows you to be able to heat things up. This goes back to the cast iron and the dishes. Have good dishes where you can put them straight on this rocket stove where it's getting direct heat, direct fire, and it won't hurt your pots and pans. If you're using those little Teflon pans or those little cheap pans, don't do that for this kind of scenario where you're using open fire. You need to make sure you have a good quality pan to take with the rocket stove. If you don't like cooking with cast iron or carbon steel or stainless steel because it's just a task, I do personally, I like using those things. But if you don't like those things, you need to make sure you at least have one to be able to utilize an open fire, direct fire, or rocket stoves. Very key to have a rocket stove. Every one of you can afford a rocket stove. Put a few dollars back a month, build up. After a few months, buy a rocket stove. They're so cheap and so easy to work. Feed it with twigs. Boom, there you go. Energy, sanitation for your water, and ableness to cook. You can even buy a rocket stove that has a USB charger on it where that fire is charging the USB port. The USB port is charging your phone or whatever you're using. Again, in a situation where we're needing energy and we don't have it, it's very wise to have a way to charge something with the fire that's also being utilized for other things. When we talk about a scenario where we're looking to scrounge around for what we can use, having something that's versatile is key. Number 4 would simply be a smoker of some sort. Now, we have a big smoker because we smoke a lot of meat. We grow all our meat on farm, so ours is more of a smoke house. But a smoker you can purchase for literally under $200 at any grocery store. Now, is that going to be a quality smoker? It may not. It may be a seasonal smoker. But having a smoke source would be key. The reason a smoker is key, because say you're curing meat, say you're drying meat, say you're needing your meat to go longer. With direct fire methods and other forms that we're talking about, we're cooking for instantaneous food. But if we're looking to make our food last a little bit longer, curing out that meat, smoking that meat, putting some kind of slow cooking mechanism on it like smoke is key. Smokehouses or smokers are very good to have around your home. You can have a smoker literally on your balcony. You can have a smoker in your backyard. It's something that everyone can pick up and have. It doesn't have to be a monster smokehouse like ours because we're raising 8 people and a lot of meat. It could be a simple one that you purchase from Walmart. I would always say buy a wood or charcoal smoker. I don't tend to like the pellet things that are coming out because guess what, if you don't have pellets, a lot of this stuff can't be used. So use stuff that is based on natural resources, not just innovation. Make sure you can kind of go back to that old way. If we lose energy or access to power, we need to make sure that we can have the things that naturally are in our earth to be able to get the heat started. Now, number 5, it's the easiest, the one that we've talked about several times too. It is a grill. A grill is something that is key to our home. We grill a lot. We love grilling in the summer. We love grilling in the fall. We love grilling in the winter and the spring too. It is just a fun pastime for us. We love eating grilled foods. You're not making the mess inside, you're making the mess outside, so it's easy cleanup. But the key is this: it allows you to cook and have a heat source. Grills come in all shapes and sizes. I love propane grills because they're easy, they're accessible, and we have a gas grill that has several forms of propane. We have a 300-gallon propane tank, and then we have several little portable tanks if we ever needed to maneuver them. Propane is good, and I think you should have a propane grill, but I think you should also have a wood fire or charcoal grill. We have a cheap, economic one that we can throw in a bug out supply vehicle and go. It's dirt cheap. You can cook on it. I've cooked on it for years. It's $40 and $50 at any little grocer. It's cheap. It's not even really good quality, but it can get you out of a bind. Now, beside that, we also have a true welded homemade, made right here in my local town, that is thick, hard, heavy, and almost immovable. It's good because it will be here probably for my children to have, because it's made out of the real stuff. So we just talked about 3 different forms of a grill. We talked about a propane grill. It's good to have, cover easy and accessible, but you do have to have the fuel. We talked about a charcoal grill, such as the cheap and easy one that moves around easy. It doesn't last forever, but it's pretty economical. And then we talked about a more of a staple. Now the key is you have to have those heat sources. You have to have charcoal. So we buy charcoal just about every time we go to a grocer. Not only do we just buy charcoal, we have hardwoods here where we can make our own charcoal. We also can use wood in those grills. So we always try to find one that we can put an access for wood to be utilized in our grills as well. Going back to number 4, the smoker. Say you buy a bigger grill. Some of the grills have a built-on smoker with it, meaning it has a hot box and then you can smoke in the main chamber. That's awesome. So now you're taking 4 and 5 and putting them together. It's money saving, time saving, and also you're utilizing one fuel system or one energy source such as charcoal or wood to heat and cook and also take care of your family. Now key would be having heat inside. I go back to like the fireplace. That's why I love it as number 1. When we built our home, we just built our home probably a little bit less than a decade ago. The home we had before this, same way, it had a fireplace. We want an open fireplace because we know the value of that. Now say you don't have an open fireplace, you have a wood fire stove, like a pot belly in your home. That's awesome, because now you can cook on top, on the little eyes, or you can still heat your home with it. That's what it's for. One thing that I've learned in the last few days, weeks, and months is energy is becoming more of a chaos scenario. We're seeing a lot of issues with our energy and the cost of energy. By you providing a fire source, a heat source, a cook source that is not tied to the grid, you are now saving money, you're now being more independent, you're being more sustainable, and also you're taking your food not just cooked on the stove, you're cooking outside. You're building that inconvenience to go back into the woods and wilderness or your back porch and say, you know what, I see what God's created. This is nice. Every time I grill, I never am disheartened about it. I'm never upset about it. It's a beautiful thing. I love being able to cook in this beautiful world that we've been given. It helps me be more appreciative for the things that we have inside. So even if we do or don't have power outages, I challenge you to cook outside, buy these things, have the access to make sure that you can heat your home with the fireplace or with some kind of potbelly stove. You can cook outside or give yourself warmth. You can even build a coil system where the coil comes inside and heats your water. I mean, there's all kind of ways that you can do these things. But these 5 methods are great ways to cook, heat, off-grid, without the grid, and making sure you can take care of your family. If it's boiling water, if it's cooking, if it's heating, whatever it may be. The best memories are found sometimes around a fireplace, cooking, or sometimes around a grill, eating, or just being together. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. If you have any things to add to this, now we can go into butane burners, we can go into tabletop burners, we can go into skillets. All those things are great. We wanted to talk about 5 more off-grid ways to heat or cook or save on your energy prices, but make sure you can take care of your family. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.